everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me again. So it is officially Women's Month, and as can be expected, I will be focusing on some of the women offenders that we've had in South Africa. We'll see how many I can get through. But yeah, if you haven't already, please do subscribe, like, comment, share. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. If you have anything to add, anything to ask, or whatever relating to this particular episode, please don't be afraid to do so in the comments, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna start by telling you guys who Sandra Smith was and why she is in the history books of South African women who have, committed crimes or murders or whatever. So Sandra Smith was a 22-year-old colored woman, and she lived with her parents in Mitchell's Plain. She had 2 children, she was married, but the problem was that the husband worked away from home. But the husband was supporting her and the children, like he sent them money regularly. So Sandra got bored, with the husband being away, and she was like, I guess she needed attention and some fun. And so she decided to initiate a relationship with a guy called Yasim Harris, right? So 6 months into Yasim and Sandra's relationship, the husband found out. And, obviously, he thought then that the relationship was over, and he sorted that out. But then the relationship wasn't over, because Yasim and Sandra's relationship actually lasted for a whole 2.5 years. So eventually the husband finds out that this relationship has been going on, and he's like, so he leaves Sandra, and then Sandra now doesn't have an income. She continues dating Yasim, but now they don't have money because husband is not sending money anymore. You know what I mean? And in the beginning of Sandra and Yasim's relationship, Sandra used the husband's money to impress and to spoil Yasim. So anyway, Yasim and Sandra now have to make a plan on how they're gonna make money because they don't have an income, Sandra and Yasim decide to get into video frauding. Like, they would buy video machines and then sell. They would hire out video machines and then sell the video machines. I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope you get it. So they would hire video machines and then sell them to other people, right? So eventually the money is not, it's not doing the things with the video scamming and the video fraud stuff. So they have to come up with another plan. Let me add this as well. Yasim has a criminal history from the time he was 13. So he's not a good boy at all. He's done drugs, he's been into fraud. Like, he has a lengthy criminal record from the time he was 13. So, of course, when it comes to, okay, now what are we going to do for money? Yasim knows nothing else. I don't know who initiated, the crime between Yasim and Sandra, but I'm just saying, from Yasim's background, one would assume that he doesn't know anything else but crime, whereas Sandra, she didn't have a history of crime and stuff like that. So now they have to come up with a plan, and so they decide that they are going to rob a house. Okay, so before I get to the robbery, let me tell you guys how they got to the point of the robbery, right? So Yasim was hanging out at, like, because he had nothing else to do. He wasn't working, so he hung out at a girls' school, like, those random guys who just hang out at your school, and you're like, they don't even go to your school, but every day after school, without fail, they're at the gate waiting for their friends or whatever. But yeah, I think we've all had one of those. So anyway, Yasim used to hang out at a girls' school, and he made friends with the girls at that school. So one of those girls was named Jermaine Abrahams, and she was 16 years old at the time. So from her little friendship with Yasim, Jermaine told Yasim some information, like what time she went to school, like things about her family. And so Yasim eventually concluded that, okay, Jermaine's family is quite wealthy. So Yasim took all this information and took it to Sandra, and was like, you know what, we can actually rob this family and maybe make some money off of whatever we steal. You know what I mean? So sharp, Sandra and Yasim decide they're gonna rob Jermaine's house. So at this point, Yasim knows what time the parents leave for work. She knows what time Jermaine leaves for school. So on the 1st of September 1986, Sandra and Yasim go to Jermaine's house. They get there at 7:30 a.m. Jermaine told Yasim that she leaves for school at 20 to 8. So why are they there 10 minutes early? Like, anyway, so they get to Jermaine's house 10 minutes early. They walk in and they knock, and obviously she's there because, you know, she did say that she left for school at 20 to 8. So she's there. So now Jermaine obviously knows who Yasim is, so she's not really startled to like see him. He's familiar to her. So Yasim asked to use the phone, and obviously Jermaine lets them in and stuff like that. So eventually when they get inside, Yasim and Jermaine go into Jermaine's bedroom. I hope I'm saying Jermaine's name right. They go into her bedroom and they start talking. But now Sandra is not in the bedroom, she's in the living room or something, and she gets impatient or uneasy, you know, and she goes into Jermaine's bedroom where the other two are. And that's when Yasim tells Jermaine that, you know what, we are actually gonna rob your house. We are here to steal some jewelry or whatever. So you need to cooperate. So Jermaine unfortunately doesn't cooperate, and so they tie her up. And then during this whole thing, somebody actually knocks at the door. And maybe it was Jermaine's friend or something. I don't know who it was, but somebody knocks at the door. And Jermaine actually tries to get help. Like, she tries to make sounds and stuff like that, but obviously it wasn't successful because the person just left. So after that, this is where Sandra and Yasim's stories clash, because Sandra says Yasim fetched the knife from the kitchen, and Yasim says no, Sandra is the one who gave me the knife. But with all that being said, Yasim is the one who stabbed Jermaine 25 times. 25 times, and I think it was in the neck area. With all that being said though, Jermaine didn't die from those 25 stabs. So they carry Jermaine to her parents' bedroom, and they tell her to show them where the jewelry is. Nah, all this because of jewelry. They stabbed me 25 times because of jewelry. Like, anyway, they're in the parents' bedroom now. They want the jewelry. So Jermaine is like crying for mercy. She's asking for water. She doesn't want to die. She's begging for her life. So she tells them where the jewelry is. And then they get the jewelry and stuff like that. And so right before they leave, you know, this person is still alive. What are we gonna do? So apparently Sandra says she only realized that Yasim had slit Jermaine's throat when they were about to leave, like when they were, because what happened was they took the duvet and they were gonna wrap her body in the duvet. So Sandra says that's when she noticed that Yasim had slit Jermaine's throat. But I don't know, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, so Yasim, while after they had stolen the jewelry and it was time to leave, he slit Jermaine's throat. I guess you cannot leave witnesses, you know what I mean? So they took their jewelry that they had stolen, they wrapped it up in the duvet, and they left. Okay, so 2 weeks later, after this whole incident happened, guys, Sandra gets arrested for something that's unrelated. She gets arrested for the video fraud that her and Yasim were doing. Remember the videos that I mentioned where they hired video machines and then sold them to other people? She gets arrested for that. But while she's arrested, Sandra confesses to Jermaine's murder. So this was on the 15th of September 1986, and that's when she was formally charged. And then 5 days later, Yasim was arrested. And then on the 23rd of September 1986, they were both charged with murder, culpable homicide to be specific, and for stealing jewelry that's worth 2,000 rands. So somebody lost their lives for jewelry worth 2,000 rands. So anyway, when you go to court, Yasim blamed Sandra, saying that Sandra was jealous of Jermaine and Yasim's relationship. She felt like Jermaine liked Yasim, a little too much, and she just wanted her dead because of that. And Yasim actually said that Sandra was actually smiling while all this stabbings was happening and whatnot, because remember, Yasim said that Sandra is the one who gave him the knife, so she was the one who was forcing Yasim, like she was overpowering him. And then Sandra says that nah, that's not what happened. What happened was that Harris didn't want to be identified by Jermaine, so that's why he had to get rid of her. And I kind of believe what Sandra is saying there, because I mean, nobody wants to leave a witness behind. So anyway, the other thing about Sandra that was very peculiar when it got to court was that she wasn't worried so much about the murder. She was more worried about her relationship with Yasim. Like, there was apparently letters where Sandra wrote to Yasim, talking about their love for each other and how their sex life. The letters were very explicit, and she was just expressing herself in those letters, and she was more embarrassed about those letters and about how people are all up in their like personal sexual life, and not so much about like the murder and that you're actually on a murder trial. So yeah, the judge didn't believe anything that Yasim had to say because he had a record and he just wasn't a viable witness. Like, he wasn't credible at all. And the other thing is, they were both charged with this because nobody tried to stop the other. They were both there and they both just went ahead with it. Nobody was like, no, let's not do it. They were both equally responsible. So they were charged in December of 1986. The 11th of December, they were charged with murder and robbery with aggravating circumstances. And then they were sentenced to death, and they got 7 years. Sandra got 7 years for the robbery, and I think Yasim got 15 years. But I mean, that's because they're gonna be executed anyway. And then, so this all happened when Sandra was 22, remember? 2.5 years later, I think, 2.5 years later, when Sandra was 24, that was the first time that they saw each other again after 2.5 years later, was the day of their execution. And the date was, okay, some sources say the date was the 2nd of June, some say it was the 2nd of July, so I don't know. The 2nd of June or July 1989, 6:50 a.m. in the morning, that's when they saw each other again for the first time after 2.5 years, because they were gonna get hung. So they were hung alongside each other, and so it was them and two other guys, and they got hung at Pretoria Central Prison. And that's basically the story of Sandra Smith. That's how Sandra got into her history books. 6 years after that, the death penalty got abolished in South Africa. And so that's basically the story of Sandra. That's the crime that took Sandra to prison, and that's why we know Sandra today as one of the 8 most notorious female offenders in South Africa. Okay, so guys, I have a few side notes, like from myself personally, that I was just thinking of, like, through with this whole case with Sandra's life in general, if I can say that. So the first thing is the effect that our actions, the effect that these kind of decisions have on our families. Like, you can only imagine how her children and her husband felt. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it basically changes not only the perpetrators, not only did Sandra's life change, it changed the dynamics forever. You know what I mean? Because now children are left without mothers, dads are left to be single parents, and just stuff like that. And also, as the husband, I wonder how he felt. Like, was he relieved to say, okay, I know, I'm glad I got away from that mess? Or was he disappointed and like, we had such a good thing going, like, why would you ruin it, you know? And my other thing is, why did Sandra and Yasim go into the house while Jermaine was still there? Like, why? Like, because if they weren't planning to do anything with her, she's a witness. What were you thinking? Like, what were you gonna do? Because if you're gonna go into a house, you can't walk into someone's house knowing that they're there and think you're gonna go in, rob, and get out. You have to hurt them some way, because then there's no way they're just gonna like let you do whatever. You know what I mean? So I feel like for them to go in while she was still in there, I'm not sure what their game plan was, because Yasim could have easily waited until, or they both could have easily waited until she was out, like physically see her walk to school or get into the school gate or whatever, and then only walk to her house. But maybe they didn't have a plan on how they were gonna get into her house, like how they were gonna break and enter. Maybe there was alarms or whatever, and they didn't wanna, be obvious. But I don't know what the game plan was, because if you're gonna go in and you know she's inside, hello. So it was very senseless. It was very senseless. They could have easily waited for her to leave and then do it, and then she could have been saved from all this. You know what I mean? And also, imagine getting home and you get home to that scene. For jewelry worth 2,000, you get home to a scene like that. Yeah. So not only the perpetrator's family does gets affected, the victim's family. Your life just changes. Like, you go to work and you think it's a normal day, and you come home and And the last thing I wanted to say is, when it comes to couples who commit crimes together, I feel like the love is diluted with a bit of, I don't want to offend anybody, but it's diluted with a bit of, I don't know what. Because if we love each other that much, but we're gonna put our relationship on the line, basically, for money, because granted we need money, granted we're doing this for each other, we love each other so much, we have to survive, we have to stay together, but yet you go and commit a crime and now you're never gonna see each other again. Like, basically we ruined each other's lives. Because, and in this case, I don't know who ruined whose lives, because like I said, I'm not sure who came up with let's go to crime. We can assume it's Yasim because of his background, but we weren't there. But yeah, so like a love like that, and I understand that people, they don't have jobs, they don't have skills. That's why it's easy for people to run to crime in general. But yeah, no thanks. I don't need a love like that. If I love you that much, to the point, like, it doesn't even make sense. We love each other, but we're gonna do something stupid and we're gonna end up separated for the rest of our lives and regret our decision, because now 2 cents on the whole case. I hope you guys enjoyed this getting to know who Sandra Smith is. Yeah, if you have any more information to add, you're more than welcome to. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. If you have a female, a specific woman that you would like me to chat about, you're more than welcome. Please make it a South African woman. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to do all the nice things below. Like, subscribe, comment, share, and I'll see you guys next time.